When did you last say yes to something you wanted to say no to? Yesterday? This morning? 10 minutes ago? Now think about this. How many times have you done that this week alone? There is a word for the life built entirely around what other people need from you. It is not generosity. It is not kindness. It is a prison. And the cruelest part is that you built it yourself. This is Emily, 31 years old, Austin, Texas. Emily has been a third-grade teacher for 6 years. She is by every account the kind of teacher parents request by name. She stays late to help students who are falling behind. She buys classroom supplies with her own money because the budget never stretches far enough. She volunteers for every committee, covers shifts for colleagues who are sick, and has not taken a personal day in 3 years. Outside of school, she is the friend who always shows up, the daughter who calls every Sunday, the neighbor who brings food when someone is struggling. Everyone who knows Emily would describe her the same way: warm, dependable, always there. What they would not see is what happens after she hangs up the phone, after she closes the classroom door, after she says yes to one more thing she did not have the energy for. The exhaustion she cannot explain because her life looks fine from the outside. The resentment she feels and then feels guilty for feeling. The quiet question that follows her home most evenings. When does someone ask how I'm doing and actually mean it? It happened on a Thursday afternoon in the middle of March. Emily's principal stopped by her classroom and asked if she would take on one more responsibility: leading the new school wellness program, unpaid, after hours. Emily opened her mouth and heard herself say, "Of course, I would love to." She drove home that evening and cried for 40 minutes without fully understanding why. That weekend, her friend Jess came over. Jess, who had known Emily since college, who had watched this pattern for years, finally said the thing she had been holding back. She said, "Emily, you are the most giving person I know, but I have never once heard you ask for something for yourself. Not once in 9 years." Emily started to say, "I'm fine, I just like helping people." Jess shook her head gently. "There's a difference," she said, "between choosing to give and not knowing how to stop." Emily sat with that for a long time, because somewhere inside her, she knew Jess was right. She had not built a generous life. She had built a life where saying no felt more dangerous than saying yes to things that were slowly emptying her. After that conversation with Jess, Emily started paying attention differently. She noticed the tightness in her chest every time her phone lit up with a request. She noticed how she rehearsed apologies before saying no to anything, as if disappointing someone required advance justification. She noticed that she couldn't remember the last time she had made a plan based entirely on what she wanted. She found a therapist named Dr. Reeves, not because she was in crisis, but because Jess's words opened doors she could not close again. In their first session, Dr. Reeves asked her a question Emily had never been asked before. She said, "When you help someone, what are you most afraid would happen if you didn't?" Emily thought about it, and then said quietly that they would think less of me, that they would leave, that I would not be worth keeping around if I stopped being useful. Dr. Reeves nodded slowly. "So it's not really about them," she said. "It's about what you believe you have to do to earn your place in the people you love." Dr. Reeves told Emily something in their third session that changed how she saw herself. She said, "Imagine you're standing in front of a locked door. Behind that door is a version of your life where you make choices based on what you actually want, where you give from abundance, not from fear, where people love you for who you are, not for what you do for them. Now, imagine you're holding the key. You've always been holding the key. The prison you're in was never locked from the outside." Emily looked at her. "Then who locked it?" she asked. Dr. Reeves said, Somewhere along the way, you learned that being needed was the safest way to be loved, so you locked the door yourself and then forgot you were holding the key. Emily didn't say anything for a while, but when she left that session, she held her keys a little differently walking to her car. Over the following months, Dr. Reeves walked Emily through 5 steps she called learning to choose. Not 5 ways to become selfish, 5 ways to become free. Step 1. Learn the difference between guilt and intuition. When Emily said no to something, she felt guilty almost immediately. Dr. Reeves helped her understand that guilt after a boundary is not a signal that you did something wrong. It's a signal that you did something new. Guilt is the feeling of breaking an old rule, not evidence that the rule was right. Emily started asking herself one question every time the guilt arrived. Did I do something harmful, or did I just do something unfamiliar? Most of the time it was unfamiliar, not harmful. Step 2. Practice the plain no. Emily had a habit of over-explaining. Every refusal came with 3 sentences of justification and an alternative offer and an apology. Dr. Reeves gave her a different script. Just, I'm not able to do that right now. No explanation, no apology, no alternative. It felt unbearably rude the first time. The second time, slightly less so. The 5th time, Emily noticed something. Most people accepted it without question. The ones who pushed back were the ones she had been most afraid to disappoint. And that told her something important about those relationships. Step 3. Ask for something small every day. Emily had lost the muscle of asking. Years of one-directional giving had made receiving feel foreign, almost wrong. Dr. Reeves asked her to practice asking for something small every single day. Not a favor, just a preference. Where to have lunch, what movie to watch, what she actually wanted from a conversation. It sounds trivial, but Emily said it was one of the hardest things she had ever practiced, because every small ask was practice for the bigger ones, and the bigger ones where her life was waiting. Step 4. Identify who shows up when you stop performing. Emily quietly began to give less. Not coldly, not dramatically, just less automatically. She watched what happened. Some people noticed and asked if she was okay. Those were the real ones. Some people drifted. Those were the ones that had been drawn to her function, not her person. It was painful to see clearly, but it was also clarifying in a way nothing else had been. Step 5. Redefine what it means to be a good person. Emily had believed, without realizing it, that being good meant being available, that love was something you maintained through constant effort and sacrifice. Dr. Reeves offered her a different definition. She said, a good person is someone who shows up honestly, who gives what they genuinely have, who says no when they mean no, so that when they say yes, it actually means something. Emily wrote that down and put it on her refrigerator, where she would see it every morning before anyone else could ask anything of her. 8 months later, Emily is still a teacher, still warm, still generous, still the person her students' parents are grateful for. But something is different. She said no to leading the wellness program, politely, without 3 paragraphs of explanation. The principal found someone else. The program ran fine. The world did not end. She takes 1 personal day per month now. She spends it doing nothing schedulable, reading, walking, existing without purpose. It took 4 months before it stopped feeling selfish. She still calls her mother every Sunday, but some Sundays she keeps it to 15 minutes. Her mother has not loved her less. And Jess, who sat across from her on that couch and said the thing no one else would say, told her recently, "You seem lighter." Emily thought about that word, lighter. Not smaller, not less, just lighter. Like she had put down something heavy she had been carrying for so long she had stopped noticing the weight. Saying yes when you mean no is not kindness. It's a loan you take out against your own life, with interest you pay in exhaustion and resentment, and the slow disappearance of who you actually are. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to have needs. You are allowed to be loved for who you are, not for what you do. The key has always been in your hand. If Emily's story felt like something you've been living quietly, drop the word free in the comments. And if someone you love is disappearing slowly behind a life of endless yeses, send them this. Mindshift Tales. Shift your mind, change your life.